Good morning and welcome to the Georgia Department of Human Services Division of Family and Children Services 2022 Caregiver of the Year Award celebration. I was about to say, give yourselves a hand, yes. So, this year's theme is Relative and Kin Connections, Keeping Families Strong. And the one thing that we know about everyone sitting here today is that not only do you keep yourself strong, the children that you serve strong, but you also keep the families that you connect with strong every single day. As you will hear, because y'all don't know each other, so we need to make sure you get to know each other a little bit today, right? So you all are going to hear some amazing facts and stories about all of our caregivers that are receiving awards today. You all are champions in keeping siblings together, and as recipients of this year's award, you sacrifice and work hard every single day for Georgia's most vulnerable children. So each of the families were nominated by their local region or child placing agency, and they are seen as valued members of the foster care team. So on behalf of Commissioner Candace Brose, Director Sean Johnson, Kenya Wooden, the Newton County Director, is here with us today. We also have Trinity Strickland from Region 4, Adrian Forcelli with Region 5, and Jackie Williams here from the division. We want to say congratulations to all of our nominees as well as all of our winners here present today. And we're gonna kick this celebration off right. So again, welcome. At this time, I'm gonna turn it over to Stephen Turner, our statewide recruitment and retention manager, to introduce our guest speaker.
Good afternoon, amazing caregivers. You all look amazing. And to our caregivers who will actually be able to see this virtual celebration, good afternoon to you as well. I am Stephen Turner, and I serve as our agency's statewide recruitment and retention manager. Now, for those who don't know, I believe I have the greatest job in our division in serving the needs of our caregivers and making sure that we not only retain amazing caregivers, but that we also recruit amazing caregivers as well. So I'm always excited about what I do. Woo! I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest of honor. And I believe by the time we conclude he concludes his presentation, you will honor and respect him as a member of our caregiver family. Can I tell you who he is? He is a former Major League Baseball pitcher, Emmy award-winning broadcaster, and best-selling author. He is none other than Mr. Paul Bird. And he's been married to Kimberly for 23 years and is the father of Grayson and Colby. Kimberly and Paul met at Louisiana State University, where Paul was a two-time academic All-SEC player, the team GPA leader, and an NCAA national champion. Paul played for 19 years in the Major League Baseball, and after shoulder reconstruction in 2000, Paul thought he would never play again. Instead, he began to swing his arms and bring back the double pump wind up, which eventually became his signature delivery and brand in baseball. But that's not it. On certain pitches, Paul also started stepping behind the pitching rubber to change the effective velocity of a pitch, something Major League Baseball had never seen in the history of its game, eventually required a new rule to be added to the handbook. No wonder Paul Cox called him one of the most creative pitchers he's ever seen in getting no-hitters. Sought after by numerous teams for his leadership in the locker room, Paul walked away, get this y'all, 3 large guaranteed contracts at the age of 38. Voted nicest guy in baseball by the players and the Steve Allen Team Cruise Good Guys by the Writers Association, Paul is now an Emmy award-winning broadcaster for Fox Sports. As a highly sought-after professional speaker, Paul can be found at Ivy League schools debating and teaching faith in sports and winning principles in business. Paul is also the president of the Birdhouse Ministries 501c3 charity. Lastly, because I know y'all can't wait to see who Paul is, I'm gonna bring him up in a few minutes as soon as I read this very last paragraph. Paul enjoys spending time with his family, biking, good pizza, movies about underdogs like Rocky, here go my favorite right here, old school R&B music, where they sing about love, portrait, and landscape photography. He also enjoys fly fishing and a really good book. So at this time, I introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Paul Bird.
Wow, that's quite an introduction. I cannot live up to that. I don't know where you got all that stuff. You must work for the FBI or something. My goodness. Thank you for saying that last part and valuing that. My wife could not be here today. She runs our horse ministry. She runs an equine therapy ministry for people of all ages to deal with anxiety, trauma, and then people that have even been pulled out of sex trafficking and more serious issues that they will require a lot of work to deal with trauma moving forward. When you get within 5 feet of a horse, your heart rate lowers. So she combines counseling and different things like that in the proximity of that horse, connecting with the horse, because if you've been abused or experienced trauma, that horse represents safety. And it's really, really cool, the stuff she's doing today. I'm married to an incredible woman. She moved us 56 times while I was playing. You mentioned the time that I was in the big leagues. I just wasn't good enough to stay with one team, but I wasn't bad enough to retire. So we just kept moving. And that had a little bit of a trauma on its own, but when the smoke cleared, we have been married and she still says she likes me. So that's a good thing. Our divorce rate in baseball is 82%, either while playing or within 5 years of retirement. So that's a really big deal. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Horses, whiskey, basketball. But I grew up breaking lamps with a tennis ball. My dad was a police officer, and one day he came home with his uniform. He put out a handkerchief because I was throwing tennis balls all around the place. And he says I was hitting the corner because I was watching the Cincinnati Reds on TV and starting to imitate windups. And so that was my passion. And recently my mom died in 2020, and we were cleaning out her stuff. And I was going through the garage, and I love my mom dearly. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my mom. She's the best. And she saved all my stuff like a good mom does, right? Stuff I did in the 2nd grade, coloring pictures, ridiculous, and then found some stuff in some boxes. These are my goals from the 7th, believe it or not, 7th grade. And the teacher asked us to write down our goals and hide them and save them. She said that nobody will ever see them. So that was a mistake because I just let it all hang out. And these were my goals. I said, I want to go to USC to play baseball, University of Southern California, because I saw them play Notre Dame on TV and football. And I want to be a football running back. I want to get a good education. I want to take photography. I want to ride my bike to classes. Then I want to play professional baseball for the Cincinnati Reds. Then I want to marry a Playboy centerfold. You guys asked me to be honest, that's what I'm here for. 7th grade, I actually wrote that down. And then I want to live in a huge mansion with a swimming pool. I want to drive a black Porsche 911, and I want to have 4 or 5 Chinese Shar-Pei dogs. That's my goals. Changed over the years, kind of shallow, kind of all about me. But that's where I was in the 7th grade. One of the reasons I changed is I had a mentor, my father, Larry Bird. Larry the legend. I call him the real Larry Bird because he was my dad. And he was my favorite catcher. And I told you about the handkerchief, and as he grew up, that was our connection. It was through sports. He spent time with me. He built into me. He told me that I could do it. And we always played catch in the off seasons, even when I was in the big leagues. And when he was 65 years old, and my dad was almost 40 when he had me, he wanted a catcher's mitt. And I said, Dad, you just need a glove. He's like, no, I still got it. I want a catcher's mitt. Catcher's mitt for Christmas. Gets over and squats down once he gets that catcher's mitt, and I'm starting to train again. And he said, son, let it fly. And I said, Dad, we just been playing catch the last 5 or 6 years. I gotten better. He goes, no, son, let it fly. So I let one go, and it went right past that glove and hit him in the catcher's mask. And on the mask, he had a little rivet of metal that was on that catcher's mask. Now, this is not, today's masks. And it caught him here, and it turned his mask. And it cut a big gash across his forehead. And he stood up, and he went like this. And I said, Dad, are you okay? And he took off his mask, and blood just kept pouring all the way down his face on this, that. He's like, that's okay, son, I'm fine. And I thought, oh my gosh, I killed my dad. Right. If any of you have never thought you killed your dad, it's a horrible feeling. And he wanted to keep catching. I said, Dad, we got to go to the hospital. He got stitches across here, and he was so proud of that battle scar. I love my dad. I miss my dad. He was great. I want to talk to you today about the difference between having a job and work. Do you know the difference between your job and your work? See, I wanted to play for the Cincinnati Reds. That's what I wanted to be my job. But my dad was about his work. My dad's job was a police officer, but his work was spending time with me. I lost my dad in 2017. That's why I'm emotional. I apologize. I'm so glad that my dad built into me. If you watched the game last night, you saw Spencer Strider throwing 100 miles an hour with a pirouette. Did y'all see that? You aware of a 100-mile-an-hour fastball? This is a baseball. Somebody throws this. It's 5 ounces, 100 miles an hour. The catcher, the hitter, 375 to 400 milliseconds for this to reach the plate. It takes him 0.18 seconds for his brain to even see the ball. And then after that, you got to put a perfect swing with a round bat and hit a round ball. I have no idea how anybody ever hits this baseball. Young man, right here. What do you think? Cheers. Yeah. You get out in the backyard and play catch with your dad. I don't care where I was on that field in the All-Star game. Some of my best moments, 5 playoffs, beat the Yankees, beat the Red Sox. One of 2 people to do that in the playoffs. Really, really cool at the time. Some of my best moments were playing catch with my dad across the street in just a field. I want you to know that. I mean that. One time I hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball off Randy Johnson. Guys, he threw it 100. I swung first pitch. It was in the glove. I said, man, I need to start sooner. Next thing you know, he's winding up. I'm swinging. I'm ready for that 100 miles an hour. I get a base hit, goes over shortstop. I'm so fired up running to first base. I just hit Randy Johnson's fastball. Round first, hand off my gloves. We win the game. I win the game. Outpitch Randy Johnson. It's his only loss of the year. That's absolutely ridiculous. The next day, we're riding on the bike together, stationary bike. He looks over and he says, man, you got me. I said, really? I just got Randy Johnson. He goes, Paul, I don't know if you know this, my fourth, fifth start of the year, of my life in the big leagues. And he said, you're really good. You're really good. And I learned that one person can say one thing to you and change your life. Randy Johnson just told me that I was good. And I said, Randy, thank you. I kind of believe that I got hitters out because that's what I do. I just can't believe I walked up to the plate with a bat and hit your fastball. And he said, Paul, that was a slider. Another lesson, baseball's about life, and I learned sometimes in life, you just got to swing. My job was in the big leagues. pitching. My work was how I influenced people walking in that locker room. What kind of energy I brought. Was I a complainer? Was I this and that? Did I love my wife? Did I love my kids? Could I handle failure and defeat and giving up 10 runs, walking off the field to a bunch of boos? I'm a Jackie Robinson fan. We have honored him lately. I talked to you about Strider. Every year, a team, everybody on that team will wear number 42. I don't collect many things, but I recently bought a Jackie Robinson letter that he wrote in 1957 to a lady in Canada, and it was certified. And this is really cool. It's got his DNA on it. A lady, and I looked up, with Google you can do anything. And I searched her house and found out, and she's in nowhere, Canada, straight up the middle. Little house, 1957, house is still there. And she wrote a letter to Jackie Robinson complaining that he was playing on Sunday. He says, "Dear Miss Fitzgerald, I'm sorry I cannot give you the answer you want, but I will attempt an answer at least the way I feel. Frankly, I don't see the harm in participating in sports on Sunday. I don't believe one should be condemned for playing on that day any more than any other day of the week. It's like going to church. One doesn't have to attend church to be a Christian, and because a person participates on Sunday doesn't, in my opinion, make him a sinner. We must worship God the way we see fit, and as long as we have Christian ideals and practices, then why be condemned for working or playing on any given day? I hope this gives you some idea as to how I feel about your question. Sincerely, Jackie Robinson." How cool is that? See, his job was to play baseball, but his work was how he treated people and the mark that he left on the game. Did you know the first black American to play on the baseball field wasn't supposed to be Jackie Robinson? It was supposed to be someone else. And Branch Rickey said, "We need Jackie Robinson because I met him and I know about his character. And he's the guy because he can handle anything." He's absolutely right. Jackie Robinson took the time out of his day after he was finished playing to answer a question that he didn't even agree with, that he felt totally different. And it's a full page, and it's well written, and he has good penmanship. He cared. That's why I'm a Jackie Robinson fan, and when I saw this, I had to get it, even though I'm not a collector. Wow. Do you know the difference between our job and our work? I was blessed to play for a long, long time, and I learned the difference between my goals in the 7th grade and the man I wanted to become as time went on. A wise man said, "If I know every mystery there is and give all my money to the poor, but I don't love, I'm nothing." And I wanted people to say, "Man, Paul Bird, good pitcher, but he sure does love." And that became one of my new goals. First of all, I want to say thank you to the caregivers who have given up their time. I want to say thank you for loving well. You would not be here today if you did not love well. And to Rachel, who has 14 foster kids right now. Well, that works. I wanted to tell you that your job may be the same as your work because you may not have time to have a job. Congratulations on loving well, and others here too. I had the privilege of being able to support a young man who lived with us in high school. I retired, as y'all said, and I went into coaching, and I coached my kids, and I had coaches, and so we had a young man who signed up for our team, and we had sleepover, and everybody is in the basement, and the next morning I'm stepping over bodies. You know, they all watched a movie and they're crashed. And I said, "Where's Therese? Where's Therese?" I said, "Oh my gosh, I lost a kid," you know? And they said, "Coach, he doesn't have a bed." So he went up to get in a bed. I said, "What do you mean he doesn't have a bed?" He said, "No, he doesn't have Coach, he doesn't have a bed." And I was like, "What?" So I went over and I met with his family and this and that, and he had been in the foster care system for the last couple of years and went back home and didn't have a place to stay in a bed, and Mom loved him tremendously. And we cut a deal where he would come up and live with me. And so he lived with me for 4 years. And that's why you had said I would be considered into the Caregiver family. And it's such an honor to be here with stalwarts of the community who love well and value family. There's not a Hall of Fame for you right now. Right now. But later on, may there be a Hall of Fame for the way you have loved and the way you value family. And that will come out eventually. You're going to get rewarded today, but your reward is far greater even now and what you will get back and in the future. So Therese Miller lived with us, and he was different. And he was different shade of melanin, different culture, different background. And I thought I was helping him. What I did not know was that I was the one that needed help. And I did not know how love looked differently in certain cases. What did I learn? When you think you're helping someone else, you may find out that you needed a lot of help too. I learned that love is messy and doesn't always look like the Hollywood movies. I learned that one of the best ways you can love is to give someone your time. I learned that seeing someone you built into accomplish something in life is a great reward. And I also learned that you can't give what you don't have. The reason I was able to give somebody else my time and love on someone else is because my dad loved me and my mom loved me, and I knew what that looked like, and I could then give that to someone else. I learned a month ago visiting Therese in Birmingham that someone can call you dad and mean it. Someone who is not even your biological child. And that messed me up. My kids learned how to not be entitled. They learned that not everybody has a father. They learned the value of hard work. They learned the value that people can think differently about different things and love still exists. When the smoke cleared, Therese became the first person in his family to graduate from college with a business degree and is charting a new course in life. I'm finishing with this, and this next point is astounding. John Wooden, the great basketball coach at UCLA, said this. He said, "You want to leave an inheritance to your children? The greatest thing a father can leave for their kids is to love their mom." Here I thought it was a big contract in the 7th grade. Here I thought the answer to life were things. And I sat down with him in Birmingham, and I asked him, what was the biggest takeaway when you lived with us? Because see, we had a frat house for 4 years. Boy, people over, sleepovers on the floor, like I said, backyard wiffle ball, movies, taking them to school, practice, restaurant, cooking food. Hey buddy, we gotta go get this. You got uniforms, this, that. What was the biggest takeaway for you? And he said, after all these years, you still love Mrs. K.
Wow.
See, my work, I didn't even know what my work was. Sometimes you don't even notice your work. I mean, sometimes I get too focused on the job and I forget about my work. Once again, my work, your work, our work is to love well. So I finish with congratulations because you all have done so. And I'm looking forward to your interviews and hearing about your stories. Already know a little bit about one. Great job, Rachel. And thank you for being here.
Was that not an amazing message? Amazing message. Perfect timing in honoring what I say and what I believe are the greatest caregivers on the face of the planet. Not just in Georgia. Y'all the greatest caregivers on the face of the planet. Thank you again, Paul. You are now Hall of Fame, sir. You are now Hall of Fame, sir. All right. At this time, we're gonna move forward with honoring Georgia's best and Georgia's greatest and our caregivers of the year. And at this time, I'm gonna call to the podium, to the roster, our caregiver coordination section director. She's the best at what she do. At this time, please give it up for Dr. Shawn Johnson.
Okay. Now he put the pressure on to say the best. Ooh, okay. So good morning, everyone. Well, it's still morning, yes. Good morning, everyone. As he stated, I am Shawn Johnson. I've been with the division now for 12 years. 12 years in defects years is almost 30. So to be able to be here to celebrate with you all is a privilege and it's an honor. And I don't take it lightly. If you all could just know that we're appreciative of you all, being on calls after calls, trying to find placements for kids, begging providers, begging foster parents to take kids. So when we have an opportunity to come here and to celebrate, I don't take it lightly. I appreciate every one of you, so thank you for your service. Okay, so as I stated, I have the privilege of honoring a total of 13 foster parents from the various regions, and yay. So after I read the statement on each foster parent, then I want you to give a hand clap at the very end. We have a couple foster parents that are here, so I want to read it off and allow them to hear the award, receive their award, and the commissioner's going to join me once they receive their awards, okay? So make sure we celebrate everyone. All right, so for Region 1, Stacy Mcdowell. Stacy has been a foster parent for almost 3.5 years and has already fostered 9 children, ranging in the ages from 0 to 16. She finalized the adoption of her son, Christopher, in February of 2022. She currently has 4 children in her home now. To Stacy, fostering is the gospel, played out in everyday life. It's about love, redemption, restoration, forgiveness, and so much more. Stacy says, God has blessed me abundantly with a huge village and support system that make it to where I can keep doing this. She believes fostering is truly her calling, and she looks forward to many more years of loving children and their family. Stacy Mcdowell, Region 1. Region 2, Jonathan and Corey Shockley. The Shockley family started their partnership with the division as a relative placement for their cousin's 3 children. Although they were not close, they knew they wanted the children to remain with the family. The Shockleys have hoped reunification would have been the ultimate goal. However, that wasn't the case. They ended up adopting 2 other of the 3 children. The Shockleys was disappointed that they were unable to keep the siblings together, but knew they had more love to give to other children. The family converted their foster home and provided a safe space for children of all ages. Region 2, Jonathan and Corey Shockley. Region 3, I hope I don't mess the last name up, Craig and Jennifer Schitz. Okay, they're from Bartow County. Mr. and Mrs. Schitz have been approved caregivers since 2005. They have fostered over 250 children and adopted 5 of those children. They started out as therapeutic foster parents and have continued their fostering journey with DFACS. Here's a little known fact. Jennifer grew up in a family that took in foster children and later became a DFACS case manager. The Schicks love all kids, but they especially like teenage boys, and their favorite thing to do is to get the kids involved in activities and be their biggest cheerleaders. Craig and Jennifer Schitz, Region 3, Bartow County. Region 4, they're here in our presence. Yay! So we would like to honor John and Charity Bird. John and Charity are a recently approved home, but you wouldn't know it from the way they advocate for children in their home. The Bird family initially inquired about being a placement for a particular child, but were called to foster children of all ages and sibling group. Ms. Bird has expressed that she knew from a young age that she wanted to be a foster mom. When she met Mr. Bird and shared her desire to foster, he jumped right in. And since then has made it a passion of his as well. The Bird family is active in the community and have a heart for the well-being of children. Mrs. Bird has a background in education and does an amazing job advocating for services for the children in their home when it comes to education, speech, and development. And we would like to present the certificate, say Caregiver of the Year Award to John and Charity Bird. All right, thank you guys. For Region 5, Amanda Ward and Megan McMillan. This is Oconee County. Amanda and Megan started fostering in fall of 2017 as an ICPC relative family. Do y'all notice the trend here? everybody is coming because they identify either as a kinship or a particular child. So that is what brought them into fostering. So make sure you continue to advocate, because of you, it'll be the one who bring other people into fostering. Following a successful reunification, Amanda and Megan transitioned to a de-facto partnership home and haven't looked back since. Fast forward almost 5 years and 40 plus placements, Amanda and Megan have provided a loving home to children of all ages, background, and needs. Sometimes for just a few hours and sometimes for many years. They are dedicated caregivers to 2 sibling groups that have been with them long term and who will always fill their hearts even when they no longer feel their home. Amanda and Megan believe in the importance of reunification and partnership parenting and building incredible strong bonds with the biological family. Amanda Ward and Megan McMillan, Region 5. Dorothy Hamrick, Region 6, Monroe County. Ms. Hamrick is the epitome of a faithful caregiver. She began fostering her grandsons, who are ages 14, 12, and 6, in May of 2021. And she is very passionate about the care and the nurturance that she provides for them. Her appetite transcends through the care that she gives to them daily, as evidenced by the way she advocates for their emotional well-being and justice provided to them in their current situation. Ms. Hambrick stated, "It's not always easy, but I love my grandboys and I would do anything for them." Ms. Hambrick includes the boys in community activities, karate competition, and after-school programs. Lastly, Ms. Hambrick also believes that it takes a village to raise a child, and she gives much thanks to her support system and her daughter. Dorothy Hambrick, Region 6. Darren and Jeanine Owens, Region 7, Columbia County. Darren and Jeanine Owens have been partnership parents for 6 years and have had close to 48 placements, adopted a sibling group of 3, obtained a guardianship of a sibling group of 2 as well. The Owens work hard to support birth families. They take the children to and from visits with their parents, reach out to the grandparents who live out of state, and most importantly, making sure the siblings remain in contact with the other siblings who are not fortunate enough to be placed with them. The Owens drive many miles so that the children can maintain their sibling bond with one another. They also have a buddy system with other partnership parents in the area that can help with respite, diapers, and passing on of clothes for children when the family enter care. Lastly, they are part of the foster parent support group that meets occasionally to discuss ideas for helping each other with children with behavioral problems and training ideas and needs. Darren and Jeanine Owens, Region 7. Darlene Anderson, Region 8. In the role as a foster parent, Ms. Anderson exemplifies so many characteristics that make her an extraordinary human being and asset to the foster parent program. Over the years, many have observed her give hope to children she serves and inspire them to not allow their current situation to determine their future success. Ms. Anderson always encouraged the children with her positive attitude and her compassionate heart. She remains a part of the support system to many of them, even after the children had transitioned to other placements. Darlene Anderson, Region 8. Christopher and Terry Mclean, Region 9, Wheeler County. Christopher and Terry Mclean have served as relative placement since June 2016. They initially had a previous little girl and then added her half-sibling in 2019. They completed the home approval process and were a fully licensed relative kinship home in August of 2021. Involvement, patience, determination, are just a few ways they have shown exemplary commitment to the division as well as to the children. They continue to push forward despite all the years of setbacks their cases entail. Wheeler County writes, Mr. and Mrs. Mclean are truly one of the good homes. They have plenty of life experiences as both were raised by other families who stepped in to intervene during their childhoods, and both turned out to be successful adults. Ms. Mcclain stays home with the children and works part-time as a paralegal in the local attorney office. Mr. Mcclain works as a mental health nurse, awesome, at a local mental health facility in their community. With the legal and mental health background, this makes this family an asset to our agency and perfect recipient of this award. Christopher and Terry Mcclain. Antoinette Dewberry, Region 10, Mitchell County. Antoinette Dewberry has been an exemplary caregiver since she became an approved caregiver. She has a clear understanding on how trauma impacts children in foster care, and she is always willing and eager to learn more skills and techniques on how to parent specific children in her home. Ms. Dewberry can always be counted on to advocate for children, not only at work, but at home too. She has served in the Mitchell County school system for years. She has never hesitated to accept placements, we love to hear that, regardless of age, race, sex, or behaviors. And she can always be counted on to support the agency with keeping siblings together, as her capacity is 5. Ms. Dewberry maintains and connections with youth who are now in college. She's a support system for the youth over weekends and holidays. Ms. Dewberry embodies the core principles of partnership parenting in all aspects. Antoinette Dewberry, Region 10. Region 11, Kaylie Bagley. Ms. Bagley is a relative, foster parent, and opened her home to children in June 2019. Since the children have been in her home, Mrs. Bagley has gone above and beyond to ensure the children are well taken care of and all their needs are met. One child in her care required extensive dental work. Ms. Bagley initiated the dental appointments for him before the agency asked and ensured that his teeth were fixed in the most pain-free way as possible. Ms. Bagley was a consistent advocate for her nephew in the school as she pushed for multiple tests so that he would receive the services that he desperately needed. She worked with him to ensure that he met all his goals. Job well done, Ms. Bagley. Region 11, Kaylie Bagley. Region 13, Nicholas and Rachel Hanratty. Nick and Rachel have been fostering for over 7 months. In these short 7 months, they have fostered over 13 children and currently have 7 permanent placements, none of their own. Wow. Their story has just begun and will continue until they have adopted a whole football team. They look forward to a huge family. Nick and Rachel are both successful and own their own businesses, and they are quick to note that their lives are pure chaos, but they love every moment of it. Region 13, Nicholas and Rachel Hanratty. And our last region, Leslie and Angela Horton, Region 14. Leslie and Angela Horton understand the agency's mission to strengthen families by keeping them together, as evidenced by the commitment to fostering a teenage mother and her 2 children. In addition to nurturing the family with hope and unconditional love, the Hortons have been stellar kinship partners. working diligently alongside case managers to ensure the needs of the children are met. Their open communication, flexibility, and promptness makes them desirable parents and easy to work with. The Hortons are celebrated in Region 14 and truly deserving of this Caregiver of the Year award. Leslie and Angela Horton. And now for the awards for our private agency partners. They're currently with National Youth Placement Corps. Sean and Samah Goins Henderson currently have 3 foster youth in their home that have maintained placement for more than 3 years. The youth ages ranges from 7 to 17 years. Over the years of fostering, have accepted youth in their home from DFACS and DJJ. They are attentive, supportive, and loving to all the children, making them feel welcome and loved regardless of their race, sexual identity, religion, or ethnicity. They are also open to fostering any child that needs a family-oriented and loving home. Their goal is to provide love and a safe place to all youth placed in their home, children, and they demonstrated proof of this by showing the children the definition of love. One of their main goals is to prepare the children for reunification, and they do that by engaging them in a family-like environment. Sean and Shama, I said it right, okay, Goins Henderson, National Youth Placement Corps. Next, we have Michelle Duplantis with Goshen Homes. Having raised her 2 children, Michelle took in her 2 granddaughters immediately when they entered foster care. She worked to partner with her daughter in hopes that she would eventually get the girls home after having a 3rd child last summer. Unfortunately, circumstances did not work out that way, and Michelle had hope, and she welcomed her grandson into her home in December of 2021. Those nights of sleep regression, teething, and overnight feedings came at a time and age she thought she would never encounter again in full-time caregiver capacity. Yet, she has taken it in stride. Michelle ensures that her grandchildren are receiving the utmost care and services they can while in her home. She also has shown her commitment to her agency, Goshen Homes, through her partnership in training and community events, and she creates opportunities for children to bond with other youth like them in a safe environment that facilitated through events planned by Goshen Home. Michelle Duplantis, congratulations. Next, we have Michelle Mcclain, Creative Community Services. Michelle is one of the most impactful kinship caregivers ever. She has been fostering her nephew for over 3 years now and has done an amazing job with him. Not only is Ms. Mclean a foster parent who provides a caring, loving, and nurturing home, but she is also a role model and an aunt who teaches and helps him to learn valuable life skills. Ms. Mcclain has always demonstrated professionalism in her role as a foster parent. She follows the agency's and state policies and procedures and ensures that she remains compliant of all those requirements. Ms. Mcclain maintains constant communication with the agency regarding supports and services and volunteers to help whenever needed. Ms. Michelle Mcclain has been a strong advocate for her family and other families regarding the services and the support that families need. She is very active in parent support groups and continues to share her experiences and provide guidance to other families. Michelle Mcclain, Creative Community Services. And our last Caregiver Award is for Patrick and Kimberly O'Brien. They're with Bethany's Christian Services of Georgia. Patrick and Kimberly O'Brien both have a deep understanding of what it takes to parent children who have experienced trauma and have shown they are equipped to handle the severe emotions and behaviors that are associated with child's trauma history. They understand the adjustments that must be made to their lifestyles so that they may be effective parents. The most impressive trait noted about the family is their determination to keep all three siblings together during this time while the children are in care. The family is passionate about fostering as they work tirelessly to ensure that their grandchildren have access to the needed services. Patrick and Kimberly O'Brien, Bethany Christian Services of Georgia. Our last set of awards is the ROC Award. ROC stands for Resilient, Open-Hearted, Connected, and Kindred. It's a new award that was established last year, given to our caregivers that had exhibited high character and leadership during the pandemic and their concern for safety of children and families. It was a way for our agency to reward our caregivers for going above and beyond the main issues going on around the nation and the world. I am proud to announce our ROC Award winners. William and Lillian Hughes from Region 1. William and Lillian, affectionately referred as Bill and Lily, have fostered for over the past 2 years. Lily was introduced to fostering by her parents, who have been foster parents for the last 10 years. Lily saw there was a need in Chattanooga for more foster parents, and Bill and Lily began the process in 2019. Once approved, the Hughes family decided to foster a medically fragile baby girl. Bill and Lily fell in love with her. They both were trained on how to handle her medical needs from home and her biggest advocate to assure she gets the medical care that she needs. Bill and Lily are in the process of adopting her. The Hughes family is always the family to call for emergency placement or respite. They provide a loving and caring home to all children who are placed in their home. And the ROC Award goes to, for Region 1, William and Lillian Hughes. The next award, ROC Award, is for Mickey and Cynthia Smith. They're with Region 3. Mickey and Cindy Smith's foster journey began in 2017 for their now adopted daughter. They have been valuable partnership parents and pride themselves on keeping open communication with biological families and going the extra mile when needed. The family strongly advocates for the children in their home while cooperating well with DFACS and CASA. Also, they do not hesitate to meet the needs of the children placed in the home, whether that means driving across the state to facilitate family visits or traveling to Atlanta for a specialist appointment for hospital stays. Mr. and Mrs. Smith are also active in the Harrison Foster Parent Association, serving as a vice president and training coordinator this year. Mickey and Cynthia Smith, Region 3. Region 5, John and Madeline Roxborough. John and Madeline Roxborough are a grandson and grandmother dynamic duo, raising John's nephew and Madeline's great-grandson. Together, they have had in their care since March of 2021. Due to John and Madeline's support, he is active in baseball and about to finish up his first grade year. He enjoys spending time with his Uncle John and also enjoys the same hobbies as his uncle as well. He equally loves spending time and learning from his grandma with cleaning, training a dog, Buddy, and learning how to cook. We are so thankful to have a dynamic duo on our team in John and Madeline. Uncle John intends to adopt his nephew. John and Madeline Roxborough, Region 5. Ms. Blackwell, she's still not, okay. Ms. Blackwell started fostering in spring of 2020 as a kinship home. After fostering her niece, Ms. Blackwell decided to transition to a DFACS partnership home and has been willing to assist DFACS in any type of placements possible. She has provided a loving home to kids of all ages, backgrounds, and needs, sometimes for just a few hours and sometimes for many years. She believes that every child deserves the chance to show their behaviors and not be labeled by their past actions. Lastly, Ms. Blackwell will always be a loving support for the children in her home, and she will always have a place in her heart for the children who are no longer placed in her home. Ms. Blackwell, Region 5, Newton County. And I just have to add a note. Region 5 was prepared to present Ms. Blackwell with some flowers, so thank you guys for your thoughtfulness. And our very last Rock Award goes to Damien and Shannon Foster, Region 9, Toombs County. Damien and Shannon Foster, affectionately known as Mike and Nicole, has been approved with DFACS since May 12, 2008. They are the proud parents of 2 sons and 4 adopted daughters. Mr. and Mrs. Foster have embodied the true meaning of partnership parenting, going above and beyond to ensure that the children's needs are met. They maintain excellent communication with agency staff and have worked alongside the other families to ensure sibling visits as often as possible. Damon and Shannon Foster, Region 9. This completes the awards, and if we can all just stand up, pat ourselves on the back, and clap. So I'm going to turn it over to our Commissioner of DHS, Candace Brose.
Here to see everything unfold and support the wonderful DFACS staff who've poured their hearts and souls into getting today ready for everyone to honor you. So I won't make it too long. I just want you to know how much I appreciate the work that you do. I have 2 boys. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And I'm still fairly new to this role. But in such a short time, I've been struck by just the blessings that come from families like yours that are willing to go above and beyond to show love and compassion to families that need a helping hand. And from the bottom of my heart, I would never be able to properly word it, but I really am so thankful for all of you and your resilience every step of the way. So on behalf of my entire agency and our workforce, thank you and congratulations on all of the honor and recognition that you're receiving today.
We made it through another year of celebrating you all as caregivers, and I would be remiss. There were some people in the audience who did not come up and get a certificate, but I think y'all are really the support and the backbone to the caregivers of the year. So I want you all to stand up so that we can recognize you all for what you're doing for them as well. Thank you all again. Thank you so much for being here to support them and everything that you all do. So I'm supposed to bring a closing today. And normally, Stephen, we'll download some things and it'll just come and it'll flow. But I just feel like we've just celebrated you all so much today that there are no more words to be said. But one thing I heard today was work and your job. Work and your job. See, today you showed up. Not because of a job. Y'all probably took off. Let's just be honest. You probably took off from the job today. But the work that you do every single day on behalf of the children that are placed in your home, that is invaluable. There is no amount of money, no clothing allowance, no toys at Christmas that can replace the love and the care and the nurturance and the guidance that you pour into those children every single day. We say, you know, May is National Foster Care Month, but we don't want to just celebrate you in May. We want to celebrate you all each and every single day. And something else I heard today. Somebody said that there's not a Hall of Fame for caregivers yet. So I pulled out my phone and I typed up Hall of Fame for caregivers. I'm going to find some place in Georgia to start a Hall of Fame for our caregivers. It may end up just being a hallway. We don't know. But I think that that is something that we need to look into, because you all are the unsung heroes. You all are the champions of the work that we do at our desk. Every single day, 24/7, you all are there with the children. You know them better than any of us ever will. You open your homes at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully we call them more closer to the 5 and 6 in the evening hour, but just in case, you all answer the call every single time. And not just for the children that you don't know, but also for the children that you know. So on behalf of Commissioner Brose, Dr. Johnson, and my entire crew from state office as well as the 14 regions across the state, we say thank you, we celebrate you, and there is more to come. Those certificates don't even touch what you will be receiving in the mail. So be on the lookout for it, and when you get it, just take a selfie for us real quick. So we'll have that for our record so we can start our Hall of Fame. So again, and we also want to thank the Braves for, again, graciously hosting us, and we look forward to many more years. So we want to thank you all. Hopefully we'll get a chance to go outside and take a little tour. But again, on behalf of the division, we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you some more. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your day.